longest-running rivalry in the NFL resumes today as the Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers meet for the 144th time before the sellout crowd at Lambeau Field here in Green Bay. The Bears are looking to tighten the NFC Central. They hope to win and hope that the Redskins beat the Vikings, a team they will play next week. Green Bay trying to edge closer to the 500 mark. And good afternoon again, everyone. I'm Dick Stockton along with Randy Cross. And Packers head coach Mike Holmgren made a big decision this week. Instead of Don Majkowski, Brett Favre, only 23 years old, is going to be his quarterback not only today but for the rest of the year, Randy.
Well, you know, Dick, it's a great decision for both teams. For Green Bay, they have a lot of confidence in a very talented, very young quarterback. From the Chicago standpoint, if you're running their defense, you rush 4, you drop 7, and you wait for this inexperienced quarterback and inexperienced offense to make some mistakes.
Favre is sacked by McMichael. There's a fumble, and the Bears have recovered. And they're still going after it. 3rd down and 8 from the 19-yard line. Out of the shotgun is Harbaugh. He gets some pressure, and his pass is caught by Waddle inside the 5-yard line. And a Bear first down. Kevin Butler, 9 of 12. This will be an 18-yard attempt with Harbaugh the holder. And the kick is good. And a penalty marker is down, so let's wait.
That's roughing the kicker, Dick. Vinnie Clark, 25, right into Butler's leg.
For a win when you give up points, and Mike Ditka playing it conservatively early on. Takes the points. Ball at the 27-yard line. The Packers. And the pass is thrown behind Sterling Sharp, who is making a cut toward the sideline. Donnell Wolford was covering on the play. He's back at about the 11-yard line. This is not a good kick either. It's end over end, and it is in Packer territory. And the Bears will take over as the crowd, 59,000 plus, not happy with Paul McJulian's punting performance. They come out with a 3 wide receiver set on 2nd and 1. And they go with Workman. And he is stuffed, and Workman may or may not have the first down. Depends on where they spot the ball. Richard Dent, who was not healthy coming into this ball game. Dent has sore ribs.
We talked about stuffing. Here's Dent working against Rutgers. Stuffs him, stands him up. And really, his Workman has nowhere to go because Rutgers cannot do anything with Richard Dent on that play.
Richard Dent. That's Ditka's record against Green Bay. Pretty consistent. Sterling Sharp goes in motion and a play fake. Trace Armstrong is in on Favre, who tries to get it away. There was a receiver in the neighborhood, so no grounding call there, but good pressure by Trace Armstrong. Favre on the audible. Looking right. In trouble. Loses the ball. And McMichael was the first man in on Favre. And the Packers have retained possession, but it's getting scary for Brett Favre with that veteran number 76 in his face. So Chris Gardocki will come in to punt for the 2nd time. And the dangerous Terrell Buckley, who has already returned a punt 58 yards for a touchdown, is back, and they fake. And a pass wide open to Green. And they fake the punt, and Gardocki through to Green. Penalty markers are down at the 6-yard line. Vinnie Clark on the stop, and a bag of tricks from Mike Ditka's collection, and the Bears are threatening. And Muster is in for the touchdown. Brad Muster with a touchdown for the Bears, his 3rd of the season. He had 2 last week. Now Kevin Butler. He has been perfect this year, and Butler remains so with the extra point. And the Bears lead the Packers now 10-3 on this touchdown by Brad Muster.
Is watching Green pretend he's running off the field, and all these guys buy it. Is he going off the field? We know he wasn't. Watch him slow down. And all the Packers are looking the other way saying, well, gee, he must have left. You know what, guys? He didn't.
You brought up Carpenter, the lonely end at Army, many years ago.
Well, the big play so far in this game is watching Green pretend he's running off the field, and all these guys buy it. Is he going off the field? We know he wasn't. Watch him slow down. And all the Packers are looking the other way saying, well, gee, he must have left. You know what, guys? He didn't.
You brought up Carpenter, the lonely end at Army, many, many years ago. And the Bears take it out of mothball. But now the Packers have the ball. First down on the 27-yard line. Darrell Thompson has come in the game at running back. And on a reverse, here's Sterling Sharp. And the Bears pursued nicely to the other side with John Roper, the linebacker, making the play. A gain of 3 yards.
Yeah, specifically, that was a good play by Roper. Roper never lost his contain, never forced too far upfield.
Total yardage this quarter, the Bears, 73. And now Paul McJulian, whose first kick went only 16 yards. And he'll be booting at Tom Waddle. And another kick off the side of his foot will go out of bounds. So McJulian is really having problems kicking.
I don't care how much the coaches like you.
Bears starting position, their own 49. They've had great field position throughout. Harbaugh on a fake, and wide open is the tight end Keith Jennings, and he gets into Packer territory. Inside the 40-yard line.
40 pounds heavier than him, and you know, Jennings, when you think about their tight ends, is not so much the receiver that you would be impressed with, but he's a guy that has soft hands, used to be a wide receiver at Clemson, and Cecil comes up to challenge him, and for all his effort just gets a big divot on his face mask.
Jennings has been starting for the Bears. Jim Thornton still out and with a sore foot. They don't know when he's going to get back. First down for the Bears on the Packer 39. And they're going to reverse to Wendell Davis. Davis may have another Bear first down. He will. Leroy Butler making the tackle and a gain of 11 yards and a good block by the right guard Tom Thayer to set that play up. Well, Darren Lewis has joined Neil Anderson in the backfield. First down for the Bears. Harbaugh's throw, and it's caught. It is caught by Tom Waddle, and it'll be good enough for yet another Bear first down, a pickup of 11 yards. There's Waddle in motion. And Harbaugh finds Waddle inside the 10, and a good tackle by Vinnie Clark prevents further damage. And a gain of 5 yards on the play as the Bears inch closer to the Packer goal line. Here in Green Bay, they remember the Fridge carrying the ball and doing damage a few years ago. And this week, Mike Ditka said that you may see William Perry carry the ball again. First and goal for the Bears. Harbaugh has completed his last 6 passes. He's going to try for another here. And his pass is caught for the touchdown. And it's Keith Jennings, the tight end. And the Bears, with their second touchdown of the second quarter, a 4-yard reception lead, 16-3.
I'm sorry, Dick. What a nice example of patience by Jim Harbaugh. He doesn't have things. Watch Jennings, 85, coming out of that tight end. He's going to work his way free. Harbaugh's thinking pass the entire way, was not looking to run, had the patience to wait until his guy got in the open.
Kevin Butler trying to add the 17th point for the Bears. And he does. What I was going to say is that's the first touchdown reception for Jennings, who really has had a fine year, as has Blackwell, the backup tight end.
Now let's watch Jennings and the job he does to get back here, kind of move around, and then finally settle in and get himself open. We talked about Harbaugh's patience. How about Jennings' perseverance? Starts out with a block, isn't open, moves, finds the spot, and Harbaugh hits him. Gee, for a guy who scored his first touchdown ever, he doesn't look too excited, does he?
He was wondering when that was going to happen.
Hey, I look at this guy. I stood next to him on the field last year. This guy looked like a tackle. And then Brian Harlan, the PR director for the Bears, says, you know, he was a wide receiver for quite a while at Clemson. I couldn't even imagine that guy lining up with his hands on his hips trying to pretend he's a wide receiver.
Jim Harbaugh, the holder. And Butler's kick is good, so the Bears score before the end of the half. There are 3 seconds remaining, and it is now 20-10 in favor of Chicago.
Discussion on the sideline between Ditka and Landry about that play calling.
You knew sooner or later Mike Ditka would be yelling at somebody, either a coach or a player, sooner or later, and it came early here in the second half. Second down and 20 from the 46, and a fake reverse. Favre gets rushed, and Harry Sidney cannot hold on to the pass. First down on the 37-yard line. And hit immediately is Vince Workman by Jim Morrissey. It was two tight ends for the Packers on third and goal from the 3. Favre has nowhere to go. And he is tackled in the open field by Richard Dent, the only man who really had a chance to get Brett Favre, who had turned away from the pursuit on the right side, and that'll bring up fourth down and a loss of 7 yards.
Like you said, Dick, Richard Dent's the only guy, and he makes this play with some good acceleration, and he maintained the contained backside and did not break down and over pursue.
Chris Jackie will try the 28-yard field goal. And the kick is no good. And Mike Holmgren visibly angry. The Packers had a first and goal at the 5 and came away with nothing and still trail 20-10. Starting from the 45, first down, and Harbaugh is going deep. And the catch is made by Wendell Davis. From Harbaugh to Davis. With 39 seconds to go in the third quarter. And this kick is good, and so Kevin Butler is 3 for 3 this afternoon, his longest from 30 yards out, and the Bears have extended their lead to 23-10. Brett Favre gets time. He's going to go deep. Double coverage, and the pass has been intercepted by Donnell Wolford. They were going to Robert Brooks, and Brett Favre threw right into coverage, and Wolford with the interception for the Chicago Bears, his second of the season, and turns the ball right back to Chicago. Second down and 7. Packers in Bear territory. Here comes a blitz. They pick it up effectively, but Favre on a coverage sack is down in his own territory at the 46 by Ron Rivera. Favre getting some pressure. The ball is tipped and nearly intercepted by Morrissey.
The Chicago Bears are the team you make your reputation and you make your point about in this division. You play the Bears, you got to play well. And Mike Holmgren knows that the path to the title and the path to success in the NFC Central goes through Mike Ditka and the Chicago Bears.
Third down and 4 out of the shotgun. Harbaugh's pass caught by Waddle, and he'll have a first down for the Bears. You refer to the Green Bay game at Soldier Field. Third down and 4. Darren Lewis on the handoff has a first down. Darren Lewis is in for the touchdown. He scored his first NFL touchdown last week against Tampa Bay and chalks up number 2 on a 30-yard scamper off the left side to make the score 29-10 Bears.
You know, Mike Holmgren can stomach some bad mistakes. He can stomach sometimes some bad plays. But something for Ray Rose, the defensive coordinator, and he that is really hard to stomach is bad plays, bad tackling, and really a lack of fire here on that last play. That showed a lot of give up.
You never saw that with the San Francisco ball clubs that they worked on. Extra point is good, and you know that man Ray Rose has to be steaming. It is 30-10 in favor of the Bears with 3:37 to go. They have salted this one away. Coming up for Brett Favre and the Packers. Favre loses the ball, and the whistle blows. Third down and 4, and here's pressure on Favre, and it is not controlled by John Roper. 15-13, so the Bears are now in a position to move to within 1 game of the Vikings. Not the fact that they've gone over the 30-point mark for the second straight week, but they did not commit a turnover in this game. That'll be the last play of the game, and for Mike Ditka and the Chicago Bears, they pick up their first victory on the road this year as they beat the Packers handily here at Lambeau Field.